Welcome back to another episode of Harmonious at Lunch, the show that fuels your business success. I'm Brandon Gano, your host and guide through the world of harmonious business growth. Today, we're unlocking powerful strategies with industry experts to help your business thrive. If you're a business owner, entrepreneur, or executive, you are in the right place. Join me and our incredible guests today on the journey to clarity, growth, and success. It is time to revolutionize your approach to business. Let's dive in with another episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Welcome back into some more bite-sized business advice. And today we're talking about balance. It's a hot topic these days, right? We're going to talk about how to live work-life balance, all the things you have to give up to achieve your dreams and forget about your kids, everything that they even exist. You'll see them one day. I think that might be the topic we're talking about, or maybe not. Maybe we're going to disrupt the way you think about work-life balance and how you could still achieve unprecedented business growth. I'm excited for this conversation. I hope you are too. We have a very special guest, Joseph Drolshagen. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thanks, Brandon. I'm really excited to be here with you and have a good conversation here that can help your audience at least stir up some thinking.
That's the whole goal, that we want to make people think after 15 minutes, wherever you are, in your car, at the gym, on the toilet. No judgment. It's just, we want to make you think a little bit differently about something and hopefully make you laugh at the same time. Yeah. So Joseph, this is the common thing these days, right? Work-life balance. Everybody's heard that phrase. Yeah. And what are the trade-offs, right? Like, if I'm going to grow my business, what am I going to give up on? And you have a wildly different take on that. So tell me how you feel about that general concept.
Absolutely. I tried following that in my own life, Brandon, for years in corporate America when I was vice president of sales, this and that stuff. And I've traded off a lot of things I can never go back and get, like my only son's first birthday, in the name of building business. And that still bothers me today. You know, and so when I started learning this stuff, after applying that stuff for decades and not doing anything, I finally said, man, this can't be right. You know, and so I leaned into that other side of it, and I've been a student of the works I do today since I was 22, and it started coming together where we're conditioned that, you know, that we have to take massive actions and exhaustive efforts and you know, trade off areas of your life to get what you want, and we buy into that. And, you know, most of those people doing that never achieve what they really want to achieve. So in doing what I've done in the SMT method that we can talk about later, but in everything I've done, it's helping people to like achieve beyond what they thought was possible, and do so while you open up more freedom of time to enjoy your efforts, to enjoy that abundant, you know, that finance and growth and all of that happens at the same time.
Yeah, I'm just a huge fan of this conversation because I see all those. You know what? Let me just admit it. I've listened to all these celebrity entrepreneurs back in the day, and I thought that was the only way because they're the loudest voices, unfortunately. And then I saw some of them in person, and I got to meet some of them in person, and not just like a shake your hand meet and greet. Like I've been backstage and actually had casual conversations. These people are miserable. They don't have what they say they have. Their whole outside world on social media is a facade. And they really don't have the business success that they want you to believe that they have, but you keep buying their stuff and clicking on their videos. So this conversation of hustle and grind and do more to get more, it's unproductive. And quite frankly, it's destroying more business owners and entrepreneurs than I think it's helping. So where do you have people start if they're conditioned to believe that is the way? And hopefully, if you've listened to the show for more than the last 5 minutes, you know that we don't believe that here. But for people who have heard that and maybe find themselves in that trap, where do you even begin?
The way I begin with every individual organization, CEO, and whoever it is I'm working with, I start with what I call, in the SMT method, developing a dynamic vision. In other words, getting out there, what does it look like out there for the life you want to live? Not the life that people are telling you have to live, and, you know, these supposed million and billionaires and stuff like that, you know, but what is the life you want to live outside of all that? Just from your imagination, from your heart, how do you want to live? How do you want to experience this lifetime? Because we never get to experience one day over again. Once it's gone, it's gone. So how do you, and I start like I said, every individual from that dynamic vision, and then from that vision, we start crossing that pathway from where we are now to where we want to be. but that vision becomes what I call our reality. We look at our life around us, we look at our situation, circumstances, conditions, and we call that our reality. So if we're not getting sales, we got to work harder, we got to put more effort, we got to do more and more and more, which doesn't get us there. It just puts us in a mode of being more beat up, more exhausted, more fatigued until somebody experiences burnout or goes and does something else, And so having that vision, and we get in place with that vision, and we start putting that on, it becomes our reality. So the situation, circumstances, and conditions that are popping up are just what it looks like as that vision is unfolding.
That's interesting. And I'm curious, I want to hear about the rest of the framework because you'll probably answer this question, but to create a vision is one thing. To then go chase it, obviously another. But I think what I've seen a lot of people do is, I'm not saying you do it this way, but I want to just give you an example and the listeners an example of how I've seen this fail miserably. You go to a Tony Robbins event or something like that. You close your eyes and you do this beautiful thing and you imagine your dream vision, and then you leave the event and they don't really equip you with the tools of how to build that bridge, of how to get there. So the execution, I'm a fractional COO. I'm all about execution because I think that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter what you want. How are you going to get it? Yes. So how do you help people build that bridge and connect the dots of, okay, vision, compelling vision in the future. I want it. What's my first step? So talk me through building that bridge.
And that's a big part of what the SMT method is. It's not closing your eyes and imagining something for a few minutes and then, it's about really diving in. There's a whole roadmap to take people through developing that dynamic vision. And it covers all areas of our life. It's not just that I'm making, $5 million or $25 million or $150 million this year. It's, how's my health and well-being? How are my relationships? How's my time and money freedom? It ties the whole thing into a vision. And so we have the roadmap. I have the road mapping tools to take people through developing that vision. And ultimately what we're doing, all the stuff that people tell us and everything else is stored in what I call our subconscious, is motherboard in our subconscious. And that motherboard is what triggers the brain waves to the actions we take or don't take. So when we hear from everybody, you got to take massive actions, all that stuff. And I know it's going beyond what you asked, but when I think it has to be explained here is when we're buying into believing all of that garbage that people are telling us, then our brain waves to take the actions to get where we want to be aren't being triggered. Or if they are, it brings up fear, it brings up uncomfortableness, it brings up, and to get to where we want to get to, we cannot take common actions. We have to do things we're not used to doing in order to get results we're not used to getting. So it's really about opening it up. And I'll tell you something, Brandon, when I get somebody and they get their vision, and it's a whole week process we take to build that vision. When they got that vision, man, there's so much excitement sparking through that person. And then all I have to do is help them to understand what the subconscious conditioning is going on. And then as we identify that that's causing limitation, we shift that. And then shifting that, we start we start seeing that vision start opening up. Now, we can't sit on the couch with a bag of potato chips and expect to get from here to, multi-millionaire doing it and stuff. There's some actions we need to take. But we take actions that are in line with the vision, not in line with our beliefs and what we've been told and all of that. And so it brings different results.
That's interesting because if you're so you create a vision technically with your current belief system, and then you have to take actions that are outside of your current beliefs. How do you do, like, what's the proper way to create a vision? Do you stretch people beyond their current beliefs, or what does that part look like?
Yeah. And I'll give you an example of that, but yeah. It's not creating it from that. We have to get outside. Even in developing the vision, we have to, it'll bump into those patterns, paradigm, belief systems so that we can shift them even in the development phase of it. So now we're already starting to shift those things. And yeah, every client that I work with, I have a client, one in particular. I mean, I've worked with almost 1,000 clients over the past decade who have all had similar results or greater than the example I'm going to share. But I had one person come to me that was doing, in 13-year high, they were doing $7.5 million in revenue in their business. When we did their vision, they said, I just want to get to $10 million. I want to get to $10 million. If I can get to $10 million, that this will all be worth it and everything else. So I got them to boost that a little bit and building their belief and you know the possibility of it for them and stuff, opening up the mindset. And in doing so, we got to $12 million. And do you know within 12 calendar months, that person almost toppled over $23 million in revenue and has been maintaining that for over 6 years now at that level, you know, kind of gradual type of growth from there. But that I've had wholesale companies that were doing $300,000 a year. Same type of thing. He wanted to get to $500,000. I got him up to $650,000 through building that belief and everything else. He ended up doing $3 million in 12 months from that. And now he's going to, and now he's going to $5 million.
All right, why is that? You gotta unpack this for me, because it's one thing to build a vision and then buy in and believe it, but is there a little bit of validation that comes from saying, "Whoa, I did that, maybe more is possible"? Like what goes from 600 to 3 million or 12.5 to 23 million just in 1 year? Because some would say that's impossible growth.
I know.
Realistically, it's not. But for them, 6 months earlier, it technically was. So what was that shift that happened?
It was. And that's what a lot of people I come across will say, that's BS, man. That's not realistic. And they're absolutely right. The results I want my clients to achieve are unrealistic results. They're beyond what they even thought possible. So the reason I do that with helping them go from like that, you know, 10 to $12 million on the seven, you know, on the one person, is because if I can get them to spark them, and I feel like I'm so passionate about what I do that I know the only limitations we ever experience are what's in our mind, conscious and subconscious mind. And our subconscious is what directs the actions we take. So if I can get them to spark that, if I can get them to start seeing the $10 million, and then I can get them to extend that a little bit to $12 million, that opens up a bigger belief for them. When I do that, we've already shifted some of those patterns, paradigms, and adjusted for those and stuff that have come up to get to that 10. And then again, when we go to 12, that it starts opening it up, and all of a sudden they start seeing the flow of it happening. And in doing so, that's how it goes. I mean, my clients achieve results that I am like baffled with, like, oh my God, like I never, like the $23 million when they were over 22 million, I was like, they were 20 million and still had a whole nother quarter to the year left. And I was like, this is like more powerful than I even thought, you know? But that's what it is it's that process. It's not where you just close your eyes and go, okay, I'm a billionaire, and open your eyes and all of a sudden everything is there. It's getting the mindset, the conscious and subconscious mindset into alignment with what we want. And then it's in the subconscious, it's building a bigger belief. Now, once we have the vision, we start stepping into that vision. We start, develop systems of accelerating habits, things like that and stuff, and all the other tools that go with it. As we start doing that and seeing some of that open up, even as it's opening up, our belief in our potential is growing. So it's a continuum of a growth in our believing in a bigger potential for ourselves, which leads to the results we experience.
Yeah, it feeds on itself, right?
It does, yes.
Self-fulfilling. That's awesome. So I'm curious though. I don't know if this is secret sauce or not. You can just tell me to shut up. But you said in the beginning when you're working with people, you want to align the future belief with their subconscious, and you want to identify what their subconscious currently believes and then shift it. Can you give me some examples of what that may look like and how to actually shift your subconscious belief? But like I said, if that is secret sauce, we will.
No. I'll share that with you. I mean, a little bit like that. I couldn't say shut up, but that's cool. We'll find another place for that.
People have said worse to me. It's okay.
No, but like for myself, the way I grew up and stuff like that, when I was in my 20s, if something came easy for me, I thought I didn't work hard enough for it, so I didn't deserve it. And there were so many opportunities that showed up like that I just pushed aside because I didn't deserve it. And that was only in my thinking, in my subconscious of seeing struggle happen my entire upbringing, that placed that belief in me that I would see it that way. So I had to shift that. I had to change that. When I have clients show up and they have actions that they, that will lead them to their vision, but fear, procrastination, all these things come up to block them from taking those actions. And then they start beating themselves up. So they make it even worse and worse and worse as the further they go into it. And what I know is we all want to have a life that we can enjoy, that we're proud to be in, that we have love, and we have finances, and we get to go and do the things we want to do and everything else. And I know every living human being has that desire in them. So I know it's not them not wanting it. So something's got to be blocking it. And that's what that subconscious, and that's what helped me turn my life around. And really, as we open up that vision, as we see those things happen, all of a sudden we start realizing things just start coming. We call them out of the blue, or coincidences, or whatever we want to call it. But in living this way, we actually can live by the design of those coincidences happening over and over and over, or those out of the blue moments, where when we're living in struggle, when we're living in lack, when we're living by those beliefs, there's nothing we can do. They're going by us all day, but we're just not noticing them. And another instance I'll give you is when I'm talking to somebody about working with them and their struggles and everything else. I want them to get to know me and everything else, but then I'm trying to get to know them too and decide, is this somebody I can help? And somebody who's got a locked mindset, who belief system, everything else, they're just locked and nothing else is even possible for them, that isn't somebody I can help. But if somebody comes to me and says, man, I'm tired of struggling and I don't know what to do anymore, that would be somebody I'd be able to help. And so I do a lot of talking with potential clients at the beginning about an open mindset. And an open mindset isn't that I don't know anything. It's I know a lot, but what can I take to this and add to what I already know to bring about change?
I love that. Yeah, I'll take that person every day of the week. I think we got a little off track as far as the having balance in your life, but this has been a much better conversation. But I am curious to bring that kind of back around full circle. So it's really not off track. All of this makes complete sense as far as growing your business. How do you make sure that, let me preface this by saying, so the audience of this show is 6-7 figure entrepreneurs that, they've grown the business to this point and they've done a phenomenal job, but to get to that next level is going to require a different mindset. And it's really just the shift from business operator to business owner. So how do we continue to grow our business, become the business owner, the CEO, the chairman of the board? Hopefully that's where we really want people to go. But how do you become that person, not sacrifice the things you want to do, grow your business, have the abundance, have the love, all of that? Like, give me the 1 minute version of
And I'll tell you the biggest thing with us to do that, Brandon, is we have to identify that subconscious conditioning that's holding it back from us. We have to stop blaming the economy and competition and all these other things. And we have to be able to go in there and adjust that in order to bring about change in the outside arena. Now, one of the things I find with that, like for myself and every client I've worked with, is that some of that conditioning we're not even aware of, that we're running on those programs. We do things so habitually that we don't even recognize that it just feels comfortable. So that's what we do. And what's happening is people will continue to take the comfortable steps and bringing about the results that they're getting, which isn't what they want anyways. Or be willing, that open mind, open your mind, not again, to adding something different, to looking at a new avenue, and find somebody who's able to help you identify that conditioning, but then has the tools to help you shift that, is the only way I know of. It's the only thing that's worked for me after a lot of coaching programs and things like that. And the other thing I would tell people is if you look into this, the SMT method is based on, it's a pathway. And every individual that steps in that pathway has a unique journey based on their conditioning, based on their desires, based on their vision, based on what they want to do. We hear all this stuff about we have your success plan for you, right? And the person doesn't even know who you are, but they have your success plan. So, and I've learned the hard way that that's not really possible for me. And the people that are spouting about that, if you do A, B, and C, you're going to get D. less than 1% of people following that ever achieve the same level as the person who did it, because that person doing it found their pathway, but that's not mine. It's not yours. So really find something that's going to help you lay out your unique pathway. And then once you do that, once you go through that, that pathway will carry you through the rest of your life in anything you do.
I love it. Yeah, that's one of the things I'm so passionate about, that because I've fallen for all of them. I'm sure you have too, but I can't stand when people say this is the one size fits all solution, or my journey to seven figures. Copy my journey to seven figures. You'll get there in 10 weeks. It's find something that's customized to you. If a plan of growth is not customized to you, it's garbage. Delete the email, get off the phone call, whatever it is. That's my soapbox for this episode.
Yeah.
I'm sure Joseph agrees. It sounds like he does. So
Fully agree.
all right, Joseph, I can't let you go without asking the last and most important question. We believe here at What If that powerful questions get powerful answers.
Yes.
And for the people I described to you who are listening to this show, if they want to get to that next level in business, if they do have that open mindset, because they're here, so they do. So we know that all of our listeners have that mindset.
Yes.
What is a powerful question you want them to ask themselves so that they can start the journey and go on to create that life of abundance and true balance where they're not sacrificing anything?
Yeah, you're going to put a link up there for people to schedule a call with me, Brandon. And a really powerful question is, what could I lose by having this conversation? Versus, or even better, what could I gain from having this conversation? Because that's really the true question.
Yeah, that's a good question. He beat me to it. Coachwithjoey.com. I put the link on the screen. It's down in the show notes wherever you're watching or listening. I appreciate you offering the listeners that call, and hopefully they got a lot of value from this episode. I think they did. I know I did, and thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. This is really, really enjoyable.
I love it. So wherever you're watching and listening, first of all, we love having you here. We love putting these episodes out 5 days a week. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single episode, and you keep getting these gold nuggets of episodes like this one. I just put it in the comments below. The episodes, in my opinion, keep getting better every single day. And I don't know how we're going to continue to top them, but I've said that before. So if you want more value like this, just put a thumbs up or something. We'll keep bringing these episodes out. We'll see you on the next episode of Harmonious at Lunch. Thanks for being